Hi guys, this is now episode 10 of our NDIS SEO campaign series, and in this episode I'll be showing you how to generate and write highly optimized blog articles for your website. In the last episode we went through how to find blog topic ideas for your business, as well as how to create a content strategy, and this is what we ended up coming up with for Neighbourly Community Care. Recorded 3 separate blog topics, which I'm going to write one per month over the next 3 months. And today I'll be showing you how to write the content for this title here: NDIS self-managed versus plan managed versus NDIA managed. And I'll show you how I generate this content and then optimize it and then upload it to the website and publish it. So I've taken all the information that we got from our research last week and I've fed it through Claude to create me a content brief, which I have here. If you want to see my process of how to create this content brief, refer to episode 5 of this series because I've already done it before and I explained the entire process of how to generate a content brief like this, which we can use to generate the article that we're writing. So from here, what we want to do is just grab this content brief and we will now feed it into Claude, which I have done here. So this is the content brief. And then what I'll do is just tell it to generate the content and we'll get our first draft so then we can start editing it. Okay, now what we want to do is just tell Claude to generate this article for us. So generate this article as per the content brief. Now this should generate a pretty good first draft for us. Okay, I've noticed that the content is using a lot of M dashes, which aren't technically incorrect English. It's just quite obvious that it's AI because that's what a lot of AIs are using these days. So I'm just going to ask it to say, remove any M dashes, make the content Australian English, because I saw a few instances of Zs throughout the content. So we just want to clean that up. Just like that. Okay, now we have a pretty solid first draft to work off. Pretty happy with the structure of this, as well as the word count and the length. Now that I've got the first draft, the next step that I like to do is run it through a content optimization tool. Now this step is completely optional. You don't have to do this, but I like to just squeeze every last bit of optimization and keyword and phrase into this article as possible to give it every chance of ranking. So what I want to do is, this is a tool that I use called Neuron Writer. There's another one that you can use called Surfer SEO, but today I'll just be using this one. We've got a new query. We want to optimize content because I've already got content for the following. This is NDIA versus NDIS. Click on this here. You will then get a screen here where you can select the competitor articles to compare your content to. So we already have our competitor articles here. So I want to just make sure I select those ones. So I'm just going to go through and select them. Ferroscale was one. Was that one? Yep, that was one there. We'll keep that one, remove that one. We now have the 5 articles that we want to compare our content to. We'll press next. Okay, it'll take you to a screen here. And what you want to do is paste your content in here and it will analyze it for you. So I just want to copy, throw it in here. This is actually the title. So I'm going to put that there, close that. So now we are returning a content score of 51, which isn't terrible because if you looked at the other ones when we were selecting them, they were anywhere from 50 to 70 range. But the main thing we're looking for here is the list of entities that we can add into our content. So now what I want to do is just click on this little arrow here and we'll copy the terms with suggested uses. So we'll copy that and we'll go back to Claude. I've wrote a little prompt here. I have run this content through a third-party tool called Neuron Writer. It has given me a list of entities that I should add into the content and the recommended number of times we should use them. So we want to paste that there and it's got the recommended usage next to them. If you go back to here, there's actually another list called extended. We also want to copy these as well. I want you to regenerate the content using as many of these entities as possible. Make sure they are added organically throughout the content without stuffing And then we'll send that off and it's going to regenerate this article with a heap more entities and keywords throughout the content. Okay, I'm just going to take this new content with all the new entities added in and we'll just take it back to Neuron Writer to see if it has improved the content. So we'll just change that and wait for this to update. And just like that, our content score has gone from 51 all the way up to 75. So now our article is ready to go. Okay, now that we've optimized this content and we have our second draft, the last thing I like to do is just go back to the Claude document and just go through it section by section and just make sure everything hits the mark. And if there's anything that I want to change, I will just go back and forth with Claude until I get it sounding right and I'm happy with the content. I'll go ahead and just do that now and I'll skip to the end and then I'll show you my process of uploading this content onto the website. All right, now it is time to upload this content to the website. This is currently what the blog section on the website looks like, which I'm not particularly happy with the formatting of this, but for now we'll just leave it and upload the content and I will fix this at a later date. I'll just fix the banner spacing and I also don't like how this sort of contact form works on the side. But other than that, it's going to work quite well and we can get our content indexed and start ranking in Google and hopefully start bringing in some organic traffic to the site. Okay, so now we're just going to click on add new post and grab our title here. It's quite long. I might actually have to shorten that if it doesn't work. But for now, we'll just work with it. And then we'll just grab the content here. I'm going to grab everything but the frequently asked questions because I'm going to add an accordion at the end. And we'll paste that there. Save draft and preview this on the next tab. Okay, looks a little funny, but as I said, we're going to have to just fix the formatting of this at a later date. But this looks quite good for now. The next thing to do is just to add an accordion and add the frequently asked questions. If we have one in here, FAQ by Rank Math, that'll do. And I'll go and add these in now. Okay, we now have our frequently asked questions section. It wasn't actually an accordion, but this is fine for now. Quite easy to read. What I want to do now is normally I would be adding a table of contents, but since this article's quite short, I'm not going to worry about it this time. But generally, if an article's say over 1,000 words and maybe 4 to 5 headers long, I'd probably add a table of contents just for ease of readability. And the last thing we need is a featured image. So the client is still working on images for me to use on the website. So now I'm just going to use a stock image just for this and I'll replace it another time. So I've just got an image here from Canva, just a stock image. And I'm just going to take a screenshot of this. We'll preview this. I can just save this and we'll save that to download. That's NDIS. There we go. Okay, now we just want to take that image we just grabbed from Canva and we'll upload it as the featured image. And then we save that and we'll preview this on the front end. And there you go, there's our featured image. That looks quite good. Okay, now this article is just about ready to publish. We just have to come up with a meta title and description. So if you're using Rank Math, you click on this button up here, edit snippet, and this is a bit too long, so I'll move that, and I'll just make it NDIA versus NDIS, and then I ask Claude to give me a meta title, so I'm going to just grab that one there, and we'll use that for now, and then I'll go back and say, write me a 140 to 150 character meta description, and with a short CTA. I probably like this one a bit more. Grab that. Yep, that works quite well. And there you have it. Our article is now ready to publish. So we'll just click publish there. And once this is ready, we'll view the post. We now have our brand new article on NDIA versus NDIS. Last thing, as always, we want to grab the URL and take it over to Search Console and submit it for indexing. And there you have it. That is how you create a highly optimized blog article for your website. And stay tuned for next week. I'll show you the strategy which we'll be implementing called location pages. And this is going to help us rank outside of our location area and hopefully up into Caboolture and as well as Redcliffe. Cheers.